Well, thank you for letting me know.
Well, who's recording?
There's a Mexican place up there when I was trying Wednesday night. Azul or something. Agave.
Can you give me a thumbs up if you see the PowerPoint slide?
Thumbs up.
Okay, thank you.
I got a comment section.
Make sure you sign in, everybody.
How do you sign in?
Go
You
to
go
the
into the chat box and you type
Yeah.
your name in chat.
And then if you're calling in, I think as long as you put your code in, you're good.
Oh yeah, because I called in, so I guess I'm good.
And he go with him so he can
I don't have a chat box.
Yeah, I don't either.
If you're listening in, you won't have a chat box.
Okay.
So I will have a sign sheet by the mailboxes tomorrow morning. You can do it that way.
Okay, perfect. So
right.
while we're on here, this is what I'm gonna do on Monday. Should I do it through the computer then?
You can watch it on the computer if you'd like. Yeah, it's gonna be on YouTube.
Oh no, I meant the SIDS class on Monday. We can't do it through the phone then either.
You have to watch the SIDS class, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure because I can see you, but I don't know if I can respond to it.
Yeah, I see you. You're good. So on your
Okay.
phone, you should have a little bar and it looks like a speech bubble. That's the chat box.
Okay, because mine, it says this meeting is being recorded, leave meeting or okay. I don't have any speech box.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
I think you will, Brenda, whenever you actually log in to watch the meeting.
I'll just sign it
Or
on
the
tomorrow
class.
morning.
Okay.
I'll just sign.
So I did put a question up there for everybody. I am gonna mute you all just so that there's no background noise. If you want to say something or you have a question, unmute yourself and you'll be free to ask away. Okay. So in the comment section, it says, or share aloud if you'd like, what's a strategy you want to share with other teachers that works well in your classroom? So something that you know, oh, I love that we do this every day, or I love that we have this going on in my room, and you want to share it with others. You can type it in the chat box, or you can share out loud. Just make sure you unmute yourself first. Okay. I think we have about everybody who would be joining us. We're 3 minutes in. So Kayla says communication with your co-teachers so we can learn what works for us. That's extremely important. And we talk about that all the time, is that you and your co-teacher, you're the little family of that classroom. Those kids are with you 10 hours a day. Some of them a lot more, and they rely on you guys, you to have that communication, that teamwork, that relationship that shares what you're thinking and what the plan is next. That makes a world of difference. Co-teachers who don't tend to communicate with one another tend to have issues where they think one person's thinking another, and then conflict arises. So making sure that you really share with your co-teacher where you are. You don't have to, some people don't really want to bring in their personal life. We're not something we're talking about. Bring in where you are professionally, what you'd like to see in the classroom, and laying it all out there for each other so you can come to some kind of cohesive nature in your classroom. And it's when we sit down with teachers who are struggling and they really lay it all out for each other, they have much more success in the classroom. So we have someone with an iPhone said, love that we work in a routine together and communicate. Another with that routine and communication is essential. Barbie says preschoolers do daily meditation and yoga to calm everyone's bodies and minds, and they do that prior to rest time. It makes a world of difference for those kids who are running a mile a minute. They have that moment to actually practice breathing with you and learn something new with those yoga skills. And it's fun. They enjoy it. Amy says, when a child is having a meltdown, I get close and just talk softly, and I repeat nurturing phrases until they are listening and quieter. So her way of making sure that that child understands she's on their level and ready to listen, she's speaking to them in those nurturing phrases, which is wonderful. They may not catch the first 10 nurturing phrases because they're in that high state of fight or flight, but then by phrase 11, they'll hear you and they're ready to get started. Now, some people have other strategies which work well. So I appreciate you guys sharing those strategies with us and things that work for you in the classroom. I'm going to leave that there. If you want to keep typing, be my guest. I'm just going to move on. There we go. Super staff member of the month of December. Remember, we're always a month behind. We're looking at the people who shined in December. There are so many people. We have to be very picky and really go through the crowd of people and who stood out for us in December. And this person was dedicated to her classroom and students, supportive and cooperative partner to her co-teacher, thinks about what's best for the students, and will make personal sacrifices to ensure they are well cared for, professional and respectful of fellow coworkers, and uses appropriate tone, phrasing, and approaches issues respectfully and professionally. And that is to Miss Christie. Congratulations to her. She's working hard in room 10. And she and Miss Dawn have been a fantastic team. Those kids are really thriving. So thank you, Miss Christie. The next person, super staff member of the month of December. This person's thoughtful of each child and family specific needs. They're supportive and cooperative partner to her co-teacher, thoughtful in writing her lesson plans and when creating activities for her students, professional and respectful of fellow coworkers, takes on and implements new learning to grow professionally as an early childhood educator, and willing to get her hands or shirts or pants dirty and while keeping a smile on her face. And that is Miss Brenda T. Yay! And she literally got her whole body dirty. So thank you, Miss Brenda. Welcome. Sorry, your gift cards and your certificates will be in your mailboxes tomorrow. So thank you to those wonderful teachers we have. We want to welcome to Sneads Ferry Quality. We have Miss Karen M, Heather E, Brenda W, and Chelsea F. And these individuals are currently doing their flex routine, but the goal, so these are the goals for them, and then the intention is for having Miss Karen be a co-teacher in room 3. That's when Miss Jenna has to leave us in February. So she will be joining room 3 more often when everybody's here, and she'll be able to really get to know Miss Abigail, and they'll work on their flow together with Miss Jenna's support. We have Miss Heather E, who's joining us as a flex teacher. She's getting to know the building, working in several different classrooms. She's been in room 8 quite a few times. Brenda W was at Sneads Ferry, and we had her go to Holly Ridge, and she's doing fantastically there. She's extremely supportive of her co-teachers. Chelsea F just started this week. She's currently working kind of like a flex teacher, but the intent is for her to be a co-teacher in room 7 at Sneads Ferry Quality while Miss Emily is on her medical leave. And then if we need to go further based on Miss Emily, then we'll do that. Okay, new hires, keep in mind, and this is a reminder for everybody else, please do not park in the row that is closest to the building. That's for pickup and drop off for parents. You see these parents struggling with 3 itty bitties. They're coming from the house of breakfast. They're coming from way down near Cancun Mexican restaurant, and they're struggling to get in the building. So if you are capable and you are an able body, we ask that you park either in the Cancun lot, or you yourself park near the house of breakfast towards that back, but they don't really like us too much, so I wouldn't do that as often. But the Cancun lot is also our lot for the second location. So you can park all in that lot. We're there early in the morning, so there shouldn't be anybody else in that parking lot to take our spots. And you park there, and that way those families who have multiple children or who are struggling to get everything they need, maybe they have packs of diapers and wipes and a kid here and 2 kids they're trying to hold hands with. So if they're in the front row, it's a safer trip into the building and back out during pickup and drop off. So thank you for doing that, those of you who already do. Please save staff spots in the second row. I already talked about that. Okay. Oh, clocking in. When Miss Joy says payroll, it's important to know that when you're clocking in, try to be as close and as and less than 5 minutes before your shift starts. That way it doesn't seem like there was overtime that wasn't asked for. And then we have this whole predicament of you're an hour over, but nobody had requested that overtime. So then you have to get questioned and all these things happen. So just please make sure that you are clocking in within the 5-minute range. You go do your bathroom trip, you get all your things that you need, you drop your children off, and then you clock in. Always ask questions and be honest. If something's not working, if you feel like there needs to be a change to what's going on, speak up, because if we don't know, then we can't help you resolve the issue. If you're a flex teacher, when you go into a classroom, always ask, what can I do? Or where do you need help? And then you're going to dive in where it's necessary and get your hands dirty. Okay. Reminders, lesson plans should be in they should be posted before Monday morning. If you get sick, goodness forbid, over the weekend, your lesson plan is posted and it's ready to go for whoever's going to sub for you. So making sure that that lesson plan Friday afternoon, you leave it up on the wall. If it's not signed yet, that's okay. We'll make our way to your room and sign it. It's better than not having a lesson plan posted. Menus and schedules. The menus should be in your mailbox either Thursday or Friday, and those menus should be posted by Monday morning as well, because Kim Sherry, our consultant, loves to roll in on a Monday morning. Your whiteboards. If you notice, on the back of every whiteboard should have a list of students. That list of students is from your meal program sheet. So if you don't have one, what you're really going to do is just copy the meal program, cut around the names, and pop it right on the back of your whiteboard. And that's helpful for people who take over your classroom. They'll know how to spell the first and last names, and they'll know the children who should be in your room. If they're outside for outdoor play, you have access to that if you're not a regular in the classroom, especially at the end of the day when we have flex teachers who are working with the students and the lead teachers and co-teachers have gone home. We want to make sure that the list is there behind your whiteboard so that we know who's with you and how to spell their names if there happens to be an incident. Okay, radio for administration when you're over ratio. Please don't shout down the hallway. Shout it, I'm over, does not sound good when parents are walking down the hallway to see their classroom. So we're going to ask that you take your radio and you say admin to room, fill in the blank, and then we hustle to you and we try to make the best situation we can. Thankfully, we are overstaffed, so we're able to bring people in earlier if we know someone's going to be out ahead of time. Now, early morning call outs, that's another story. And if that happens, it's sometimes very difficult, especially for the way early people who call out, to fill their spot. So if they tell us the night before, it tends to be a little less chaotic in the mornings.
Shannon, that having been said, we're going to have to change it tomorrow because we had a very rough afternoon trying to move kids around and get people out. As well-staffed as we were, it was very difficult because we just have too many people in early.
Okay, so we're going to message people about what their times are if they're changing?
Yeah, I think if we have Jenna and Cheyenne come in at 7 o'clock instead of 6:30, Brittany can come in at 6:30 for Donna, and they can come in at 7, and at least do 7 to 4, and that'll cover Amanda. And there was somebody else, whatever it was, but at least that gives us a little bit more because it was very tight trying to get everybody out. We must have had a ridiculous amount of staff there this morning.
All right. So then, okay. And I'll go in early then too. Check and empty your mailboxes daily. So making sure that it's completely empty. Your supply list should be turned in by Wednesday each week, making sure that Brittany has time to get your supplies. If you know something is still missing because I ordered it, then make sure that you are keeping up and messaging me. Oh, I didn't get this. I ordered it 2 weeks ago, because I'm not keeping track sometimes of when things should be delivered. I order them, but every classroom is asking me for certain things and there's other things going on. So just if you want to shoot me a message and say, hey, I had asked for this 2 weeks ago and it still hasn't come in, maybe it went to a different classroom. So we want to make sure that we're keeping up with that. Because if you need something, we'll happily get it for you within reason. But don't start snatching things from the shelves on the front. That's not nice. Reimbursements. Don't go buying stuff and expect that you're going to get reimbursed. We may have it already. We may be able to get you something that's a little less expensive, or maybe it's something that's not truly necessary for your classroom, and then we won't be able to reimburse at all. So just keep in mind, if you're going to go and get something for your classroom and you haven't asked for reimbursement, it may not be reimbursed. So just don't do that. Ask first. The January newsletter was written by Miss Ruby, and it goes into having the energy bus. If you look at that very top block, the energy bus is going to be held at Holly Ridge Quality. It is for parents, and if teachers would like to join, you are so welcome to join. We're going to have a light breakfast served. It's on January 27th from 9 to 11. And it's a way to get people to kind of get themselves focused and to have a straight vision about positive energy. So some parents are struggling with the fact that there's a lot of negativity in the household, and they come home from a really long day at work and they feel extremely stressed and fatigued. And then they have to be with their children, and they're feeling like they have to be with their children. So we want to turn that mindset around and get them home and having that positive energy and being with their children with purpose and meaning. So that's what that's going to be all about. It's hosted by One Place. The closing schedule's there as well, and the reminder about coats for families. If you get a coat from a child, just check if their name's in there. It could be written on the tag, it could be somewhere else. But if there's no name in the coat that child brought in, can you please make sure you use masking tape and pop that masking tape inside the coat and write their name, because otherwise the coat gets lost. And we've had several children and parents say, I don't know where my child's coat is, but they never put the name inside of it. So then it went and lost and found, and it eventually got donated. Closing checklist. This is just a reminder that if you are a closer or someone who's close to the closing time, please make sure you check these in the classroom. You can initial them to ensure that you know, and the person who starts the morning in there the following day knows who did what. So that way we can make sure everything's done. There's been some empty coolers. That's kind of sad. That means they didn't get refilled, or from Friday to Monday, they have to get scrubbed out and let to be air dried. If you are replenishing, you know where those paper towel rolls are, those toilet paper rolls. So that makes sure that the opening crew can pop in and take kids right away. Because if they can't, then that's delaying the whole process of, oh, we needed a person in this room and we have to move these kids over. Wait, first, I got to go and get this done. So just making sure that you take care of the closing list if you are a closer. And if you're an opener, you have completely other responsibilities to take care of.
Just to touch bases, I know we mention it every so often. Miss Susan is there to like do deep cleaning and help us, but taking out the trash is still the responsibility of everybody that's closing. Today there was this overhaul of over 6 trash bags that were just left in the hallway while staff was still in the building. So that I am gonna admit irks me a little bit, where it's just like, you are still in the building, you see the trash bags in the hallway, and you choose not to help the rest of the closers before you leave. It's a team effort. Otherwise, there's always going to be that one person that has to stay past 6 p.m. to do all of that by themselves. So if one person takes one bag, there's 40 of us. There'd be no trash left. So again, taking out your trash is part of closing. So you must take it out all the way to the dumpster, not leaving it up front by the entryway.
Another thing that I've noticed isn't happening anymore is when someone goes to lunch, the co or the lead, work it out who, maybe you alternate, but those people take the trash out from after lunch. There shouldn't be a full trash bag waiting in the bathroom or waiting in the can after lunch. You should have a fresh bag because you just filled that whole thing up with lunch plates and cups. You have your diaper trash from the whole first part of the day. Those things go out with someone when they go to lunch, and fresh bags go in. And that way there's less trash, because I've seen some tucked away behind the bathroom doors. I've seen those should be gone already. So after lunch, and then obviously, as Ms. Ruby was saying, at the end of the day, we shouldn't see any extra trash when admin is leaving last. There should be no trash except for admin trash. All right. Miss Joyce came up with the solution for wipes. We've had some families puzzled because their child, they haven't been asked for wipes like ever, or some people are asked for wipes all the time. So this solution is that you use one child to say, okay, so Mikey's wipes, you're going to use them all the way through. Then you message me and tell me, okay, he's out of wipes. Then you move to the next child. You can do it in alphabetical order. You can do it in age order, whatever your preference is, but you're going in an order of using whose wipes. Unless the child has an allergy and they have to use specific wipes, they're communal wipes. As you go through the classroom list, eventually it'll be Mikey's turn again. But then I don't feel like I'm replenishing wipes every week. What's actually happening is I replenish mine. We go through those other 16 children, and then it's Mikey's turn to use his wipes, and I will replenish after that. So you just have to make sure you're attentive to messaging or reminding the parent whose wipes you just used, and that system should work for you, because the wipes in our storage area that we supply, they are getting used up like crazy because the children, the student wipes, aren't being touched. So please make sure you work out a system, if not this system we just explained. And that way there's a way to not use up all the center wipes. Those center wipes are used for emergency situations. If you need to use center wipes for any other, but wiping faces, things like that. But not every day for butt changes because they go out real fast. Okay, the coats I just talked
Shannon,
about.
I'm sorry, while we're discussing that too, I'm sorry. If everybody can check and see if people have clothes for their children. It seems like a lot of kids do not have backup clothes for when they need to get changed. And we don't have any kind of a stock. Maybe we can send home another notice to parents. Christmas just went by. Maybe people got a lot of Christmas clothes and they're looking to get rid of some old stuff or stuff that the kids have grown out of. Tell them that we are always looking, especially for pants, underwear, shorts before long. We don't have any again. And to try and make sure everybody messages their parents to make sure that they keep a stock in the center.
Yeah, and we did have a bunch of donations. Joyce went through this whole huge pile of clothes, and we had some for every size, and now there's nothing left. So they must be getting changed and staying home with those children instead of coming back. What I used to notice is that someone would write SFQCC all over the outfits that were sent home. So they had more of a chance of coming back because no one wants their kid walking through the grocery store with SFQCC and Sharpie all up and down their outfit. But if somebody's going through a difficult time as a family, that's what we're also here for. And we can gather those donations and bring them to the family with discretion. The thing I wanted to talk about is that coats and personal fabric items, they cannot touch. That's a state violation. So for example, Mikey's items and Jordan's items cannot touch each other. Their coats, whatever, nothing of fabric. So the cubbies are close together. If you're having trouble keeping things in each individual cubby, we have different bags you can put the coats in, hang the bag, that way just the bags are touching, and that's okay. And you just label a name on the bag. If you think of a different solution, let us know. But just making sure that those fabrics, personal fabric items, don't touch another child.
Also remind the parents that they are not allowed to or supposed to have a lot of personal items there. I've seen cubbies with 2 and 3 blankets in them, or, you know, stuffies, or whatever the case may be. That's only stuff that they have to remember to take home. Nobody should have that much personal stuff in their cubbies.
Yeah, and if they want a stuffy and it's supposed to stay at school, so it can go in their nap bag, and that'll eliminate the space needed in the cubby for that. Some stuffies are huge out there, they're humongous. Hand washing to lunch or nap, that transition time. I've noticed as I've been going through classrooms and watching some videos for evaluations that the expectation of what's going to happen, it seems to be unclear. So if you got a flex teacher or you're lucky enough to get a third person in your room, everyone should have a job. No one should just be standing, kind of observing the class. There should be motion to your body. Either you're standing next to the children who are washing hands and using potty and helping them, directing them, or you're the person changing diapers and little kids are washing their hands over by you. So there's someone setting up the cots, and then another person is working with those kids who are finishing up their meals, because someone should be with the kids who are eating. And then that person can also sing, engage the children, read a book, something where no one is idle for more than 2 minutes or 3 minutes at a time. So if you practice this and you get yourselves into a routine, by the time we are assessed in March-ish area, it'll be automatic. It'll be just something innate that you do every day with your little team that you have in your room. If you have a flex teacher who's new to the space, you just give them direction. That's what they're there for, to support you. And if you give them a job to do, they're going to do that job. So making sure that you are explicit in what's expected. That ABC chart for teachers is what we have it for. If you say right now we're doing this and your teacher B, they're going to look right at that time and what is the task for teacher B, and they're going to do that task. So you don't even have to say more than that if you're a person of little words. So let's get to it. Classroom tips. I just talked about the ABC chart. Shout your praises. I've noticed more often now, we have a lot of or no sir, or didn't I just tell you not to? We can't do that anymore. Cut it. Share the positives you're witnessing by another child. Highlight that positive, sing their praises, get all kinds of psyched up about what they're doing. And then you're going to notice that the other children are starting to mimic that behavior. So maybe they're standing in line. Oh, I love how Mikey is standing in line. His hands are by his side. He's standing up straight like a statue, and he's waiting so patiently. And then you'll see like a whole line of little 2-year-olds lining up just the way Mikey is. You might have a few exceptions, but we're starting that way. And then we can focus on the ones who are still struggling. When you're in line, and I've seen preschool students doing this, they just get real bored real quick. So if they're in line waiting to go outside, perhaps bringing in a song, and you're talking about marching, but they can march in place and the ants go marching, whatever it is, you're keeping their minds focused instead of they're starting to look for things, mischievous things. Highlighting the one child maybe who always struggles, and you just start saying, I love how you're going to sit with your feet on the floor, your chair's pushed in, and your hands are in your lap. And they may follow exactly what you're saying because you love how they're going to do it. It's worth a try. It may not work every time, but it's another strategy to get them focused on what you expect. So we're stating the expectations instead of, we don't stand on chairs. Let's put our feet on the floor so you don't fall down and hurt your head by falling. Let me show you how. Or instead of standing on the chair, you can come over here and sit here, or you can stand over here by housekeeping and play with this. So giving them those two positive choices is extremely important so that they feel they still have the power, but really you have the power. So I was talking about the energy bus. I just wanted to show you the flyer. If you can put it out there to parents, hey, you're going on an energy bus, there's a link, blah, blah, blah. I just shared it all over Facebook. So if you want to direct them there, there's also a link on the website, and it's a free workshop for them, and it's sponsored by One Place. Can you believe it? We're already starting to plan for graduation in the summer, and it's only January, but it is happening. So graduation will be Saturday, June 8th, between 11 a.m. is the first one, and the second one, either 12 or 12:30. Have to see how many graduates we're going to have, but I'm thinking that we will be able to do 12 o'clock, like quickly get things done. And kick off the summer, our big event before we start our summer camp. Do you have any suggestions? Should I do it on a weekday just during our hours of business? Should we do it in a Friday evening, or should we do it on a Saturday during the day? All suggestions are welcome, and what you would expect to see at our kickoff this summer. If you were here last year, you saw our example where we had the community programs come and we had activities for the students. Our main building is getting ready for assessment. So the window will open. When I call, they sign us right up and give us our window. So we're planning on late March or early April, but that means that we can't sign up for NC Pre-K for the main building. So if we feel that we're ready before that, then I'll put the call in earlier and I'll let you know. But right now, the way Miss Beth was talking about it, we may not be quite ready, but I would like us to have NC pre-K in the main building. I know that the community would love us to have NC pre-K in the main building.
We
So,
need to do that.
What?
Yeah.
We will reanalyze, I guess, next month. We'll see how things are going. Beth is going to come at least once a week to work with classrooms. Please use the suggestions and implement the new learning and address any concerns that she has brought up to your room, and use the thinking more about packets to support you in your classroom. I put the link for all the NCR lab resources. So if you're curious about assessment, you want to know more about it, there's videos, there's articles, there's those packets that I'm talking about. Tomorrow morning, you will get a packet on the language and tone and interactions, because I feel like that's something that we really need to work on. Is some teachers have it, some teachers almost have it. So it's a packet where you're going to reflect and you're going to write about how you yourself want to work on these strategies and goals, and then please put it in my mailbox so I can read them over and get you something specific to your goals and needs, or come in or have Beth go in, and it'll be something that is meaningful to you instead of, you know, a whole bunch of nonsensical trainings that you don't need. This is going to be what you need to work on. So thinking about language and interactions, that's what we're going to do first. Guiding children to avoid injury. We talk about this all the time, but make sure you have a flat hand behind their back. You're never grabbing arms that go backwards. If a kid drops down, then you're just going to let them be on the ground, tell them you'll be back when they're ready, and then you address them when they've calmed their body. But when a kid is in distress, they do not hear you. That's what Amy was saying, that she says all these nurturing phrases, but by like phrase 10, maybe they'll start hearing you. So just keep that in mind. If they're in that mindset or fight or flight, we have to be patient. So supervision, please don't turn your back to the students. If you're outside, everyone should be stationed so that you are watching students instead of turning your back and looking over the fence. That's not okay. We're not chit-chatting with our neighbors on the other playground because there are children in your care. You are supervising them. A lot of people like to go up on the top of the playground structure and watch down from there. You got an eagle eye over what's going on down below you. And then another person's by the door to greet parents if it's during pickup time. So that way you got someone greeting parents, someone at the structure, and then you're just watching everybody. You can probably see things before they happen if you're set up like that. Make sure you're getting down on students' level when you're speaking to them. We try not to talk down to the student. We're going to get on their level and speak with them. Now, obviously, a kid is flailing their arms and looking like they're going to whack you, then don't bring yourself right in front of them. Give them space for a minute. When they've calmed their body or they're at a state where they can interact with you, that's when you approach them. Don't risk your pretty face. Use an even tone. Big voice doesn't mean we're shouting. A big voice just means we are using a voice that means what we say. We say what we mean and we mean what we say. Provide them with those two positive choices. And then always follow through with your consequence. Rather, if it's a natural consequence or a logical one, we need to make consequences that make sense for the actions that are happening, not something that is totally irrelevant. And we can never take away food. Remember that. Don't take away special treats. If there's going to be a special treat, everybody gets that special treat. Phrasing is very important. So if you look at the one side, it says, "Are you okay?" And then on the right, it says, "You fell down and bumped your elbow. That must have hurt." So instead of "Are you okay?" you notice what happened and you're asking them, you can express that it might have hurt, or "Are you hurt?" And then you move on from there. Just bringing that vocabulary to a deeper level than what we have been hearing. So always turning it into a positive phrase. So instead of "don't make me have to," we're saying "I'm going to," and what action is coming next. All right, phrasing with positive choices. There's some examples on the right side. So the top one says, "It's time to get dressed for outside. You have a choice to put on your hat first or your snow pants on first. Which is best for you?" Obviously, these people are not in North Carolina, but giving them those two choices of what they can do first gives them that power, but you're actually in control. And you're having them do what you want them to do, but you're giving them choices in the process. So you can use it in any instance. Do you want to eat your green beans first or your apples? Then their focus is on, "Oh, I have to choose between these two right now." Not, "Oh, there's another option out there for me." If they say no, then you got to try a different method. We have been hearing a lot of no, sir, and how many times have I told you to fill in the blank, get off when they're climbing something and just flat out stop. This isn't something we should ever hear. And it's very difficult for people who have grown up this way to transition their mindset to speak in positive phrasing. I completely understand that. But the more you practice and the more conscientious you are of it, it's going to become automatic to you. Just like everything else in early childhood education, it takes a lot of practice. These little people will just absorb everything you give to them. So instead of the get off, we put our feet on the floor. We use walking feet. It's not safe to be up there. You could fall and get very hurt. Let's come walk over here. You want to climb? Then we go outside and we'll climb the climbing structures. You want to climb? Here's our climber in the classroom. Go climb the climber in the classroom. So you're redirecting them by giving them the reason why they shouldn't be doing what they're doing instead of just that simple phrase of get off. This is hanging in the bathroom. It needs very quality. So if you got some bathroom time and you're in there and you want to read something, it's there for you on the door or the wall. And I really encourage you to look at the phrasing on the left, which is negative phrasing, and the phrasing in the center, which is how we can change our phrasing to be more positive. And also it's helping the student understand what you expect. On the far right, that's going to be the explanation of why you told them what you told them. Because some children want to know why. They flat out ask, well, why? And here's your reasoning why. Because sometimes that extra little reasoning why will give them the inclination to follow through. So I put videos on here. I'm not going to show this one, but I am going to show this one. This is building emotional literacy. I may have shown it once last year or the year before, but I feel like it's extremely important because what we've been hearing and seeing in the buildings, and it's throughout all sites that I want everyone to have this understanding of building emotional literacy. How do we guide our students to problem solve and reason with their emotions in the moment? Because they're going to feel frustrated, but they don't know what frustrated means and what they should do with it. So that's why we come in and we teach them this, because some are not getting it at home. This is their whole human interaction is with you every day. Some of them go home, they may eat dinner, and they may just go straight to bed because it's so late for them. This world that they live in with you, this is their world. So I want to make sure everyone's on the same page. After we watch this video, I'm going to tell you the next little part.
Okay, that's all of the puzzle.
Because our teachers teach self-regulation, our students are better able to manage their feelings.
No. That's angry.
They're better able to verbalize their emotions and what they're going through. They're ready to speak about their problems and not react to their problems. And by doing that, they're ready to go to that next level. If you looked into a typical classroom here at Educare, you're like, oh, all they're doing is just playing all day. They just like they're having fun. But there's intentionality behind everything. One of the things that teachers focus on is self-regulation. I would say that skill set of self-regulation is actually the most important because you're setting that child up for success.
We realize that if a child is not able to actually focus and manage and cope, then they're not learning. So conscious discipline is our research-based social-emotional program that we use in the classrooms. Conscious discipline isn't about managing behaviors, it's about giving the students the tools to direct it themselves.
I commit to use my big voice. I commit to listen to my friends' big voices. I commit to using kind words. I commit to keep my classroom safe.
Conscious discipline gives the students and the teachers the language to work through things. It's about using your words in a positive way.
So I was trying to tell you something. Can you listen to Elon's words? She's using her big voice.
You are safe. You are loved. You can handle this. In previous classrooms that I've had, we didn't give them the means to articulate their feelings.
Can you tell me how you're feeling right now? That's angry, sad, happy, silly, and tired, and worried, surprised, and grandkids. Which one are you feeling right now? If you don't give them the language that they need, they can't communicate what their needs are. Okay. But when you give them those big words, they're like, oh, I'm not scared. I'm not mad. I'm frustrated. And they know that's nuances to how we feel and what we think. We're always telling them, use your words and not your hands. But what words?
Or I don't like when you grab my hair.
When the kids are able to say, I don't like it when you push me, will you please stop? The other child knows what they did. And then you have a relationship building moment instead of a tension moment. If I do what I'm supposed to do when they're transitioning from early childhood to kindergarten, when they're in second grade, they'll be able to use these skills. And then they can share them with their classmates. In third grade, fourth grade, you won't have the disruption. You can just teach. Remember, it's my job to keep you safe, and it's your job. What's your job? To stay that way. High five.
So here's another one about smooth transitions where a child may have separation anxiety in the morning, leaving mom or dad or grandma, grandpa. And this is make transitions fun. I know I showed this one or little pieces of it, but this woman, Jean Feldman, she does little finger play activities. So you just need your body to do these activities with kids. But if they're waiting their turn, or they're waiting for lunch to come, or they're waiting to go outside, they're waiting in general, these are great. So if you want to watch this video, you're welcome to do that as well. It'll be when I share the PowerPoint, or you can just look it up on YouTube. So I wanted to talk before I go into the next segment about making sure that when we're building that emotional literacy with our students, that we, just like they did in the video, acknowledge the emotion that they're exhibiting and then tell them what they should do or the choices they have with that emotion. Because that's why we have kids who instantly go to hit or they go to kick, because that's how they're just releasing that energy that they have from that emotion. Sometimes it's misguided, and what they really need to do is they have to go and sit and do their breathing. So we've taught the students how to do star breathing. At Holly Ridge in Miss Whitney's room, she has these like I don't know what you like psychedelic touch feely pads, and they go to that corner and they're able to just feel them and get focused on something completely different, because in the end they felt that emotion, but until their body is regulated, they're not going to be able to acknowledge the emotion they just felt and how to work on exhibiting it in a more appropriate way in the classroom. Because throwing chairs is not appropriate. Whacking your friend on top of the head is not appropriate. But what do we do if we're frustrated? What do we do if we're upset that they took that block from us? Those words, we have to tell them which words to use. They practice, we model, you bring the other children back over, and they have it. They practice together, because the more you practice, obviously, the more it will become habit for them as well. Just like when we're trying to learn how to work in an early childhood education classroom, we have to practice more. But these little people are trying to learn how to just be people. So we're working with them, and we acknowledge the conflict and we work together. What we're doing in some classrooms at Holly Ridge is that the child who is struggling the most, call it Mikey. Mikey's struggling, and he's really just exhibiting extreme behaviors. He's yelling, screaming, telling us horrible things about, just things he's heard on TV, I guess, kicking, screaming. And it's all because he just doesn't want to transition to the next thing. Or it's because he is emotional from the previous transition. Whatever it may be, we can't get to the root of it because he's exhibiting these extreme behaviors. So what we have is Mikey's going to go sit at a small group with me and maybe 2 other students, and we're going to have puppet play. And I'm going to be the puppet who's mimicking what Mikey does every day at that particular time of day. And I'm going to act it out and act buck wild. Then I'm going to ask Mikey to tell this little friend here what to do instead. What should they have done? And then they act out the appropriate behaviors and words to use in that instance together with their puppet play. If you don't want to use puppets, those little stuffed bears that everybody has in cozy area would be perfect. Everybody's a bear. And they interact to each other and they all take a turn either being that crazy kid and having the other kid tell them, well, you should do it this way next time. Oh, okay, I'll just, whatever the case may be in the instance, but they're going to get a kick out of it, but also learn something through play with you. And that role playing, when you're just using those little characters, it kind of takes away that it's about them, but in actuality, it's bringing something internalized to them. So they're acting somebody out, but they're internalizing what should happen. And the more you do this with them and you have those puppet play moments, it'll become something that you can remind them. Oh, do you remember when you had, the little bear and he did this? What did you tell him to do? And then when little Mikey's having trouble next time after nap, because he can't transition from nap to snack, hopefully he'll be able to remember the interactions you guys had in that small group. And that's the best part about having extra people around during the day. You can work with a small group and really focus on the social and emotional needs of some of your students. Because if they aren't able to be regulated, you can't teach the rest of the crew. You have a child who really struggles, that's your focus during that small group time. Just keep bringing that one kid in every time. Every time you do a new small group, they can't get enough of that particular lesson. So just keep that child in. They're going to be your buddy when you're teaching everybody how to stand in line and sing songs appropriately. And then these little guys are singing, oh, what song should we sing next? Our hands are by our side, right? We're standing nice and tall, whatever you guys want to sing. There's a bunch of chants out there for different things and what to do with different conflicts. So we talk about this all the time, but we do have some new staff members. Make sure that you know that all biting and non-injury reports and ABC charts and incident reports are all official documents. They can be brought to court when a family is going through a custody dispute. They can be brought in many different instances to CPS could use them. So we want to make sure that you complete all sections and you only use black or blue ink. We really only have black pens at the center, but if you choose to bring in a hot pink one, just make sure you don't use it on incident reports. You want to check the roster to make sure the name is spelled, the first and last name is spelled properly. And you want to just have the facts, ma'am, just like those old detective shows. Just the facts, ma'am. We don't want emotion tied into it. Don't make an inference of how a child was feeling. You just want the facts. If you didn't see it happen, then you want to make sure you ask the child themselves. And then if we need video, we always have video to show and to make sure we are accurate before we state what occurred. Because we can say, Mikey said, this is what happened because it wasn't witnessed by the adult. Instead of this is what happened, but really it's what Mikey said. You go inside. I love you. No. So always video. And there's carbon copy
You keep
paper.
calling him, you better gonna have to try and find a different name.
Yeah. He heard and he came right in.
I don't do any of those things.
That's not me, Mom. So there's carbon copy paper, and we prefer to keep the white copy on the top. But obviously, if parents are signing after you've gone, we'll take the one underneath as well. Biting and non-injury reports are orange and red paper only. The parents should sign at school, and then they're going to return it to the office at Miss Michelle's desk. ABC charts are anecdotal notes and their data used for many different purposes, but our goal is to get the child the help they need. So typically we use the ABC charts for the IEP process or to get them services and to reference for the therapists.
It's Mickey.
It is Mikey. So we wanted to go through the Emergency and preparedness and response quick guide. This has been changed slightly. It's in everybody's emergency bag. And in the emergency bag, you'll notice that you should also have your emergency cards for every child. So that should be checked regularly to make sure a new child came into your class. You put their emergency card right into that folder that was set up for you by Miss Michelle and Miss Ruby and Miss Stephanie, and maybe Miss Brittany too, and making sure that it's up to date. You remove the old kids, you keep the new ones, and you have this guide right here. There is a date at the bottom that says when it was edited last. Please make sure it is saying that it's edited from this December, because that's when we fixed it up. So the emergency numbers are there. The supply locations, we have ready to go bags. Every classroom has their emergency bag. They bring it outside with them. Ready to go kits are located in the front office and they're not under the counter anymore. They're in a pantry behind Miss Michelle. And they're these huge white laundry baskets that roll, and they have everything we would need for infant classrooms all the way to school-age classrooms have them. And they're all in the front office. School-age building has one for themselves, and it has all the things that either school-age or preschool students would need in case of emergency. The fire alarm is located next to the front door. It does not signal emergency services. So don't go pulling that alarm and thinking we're all saved. You can pull the alarm, everyone's going to run out of the building, but you still have to call 911. So keep that in mind. Okay. Emergency supply locations, ready to go bags. There's, like we said, in one in every room. And I just told you all these. The fire extinguishers, they're located throughout the building. They get checked regularly, and making sure that there's nothing obstructing the fire extinguisher. So if you're looking at the fire extinguisher, there should be a clear reach. You could grab it and go. If there's cots in front of it, if there's something else in front of it, we have to move those things. The EPR code words. If you're doing a weather shelter in place, this go get Eden. So we go to the hallway. Go get football and grab from Mike. Go, love you. Help him. Go. Goodbye. Love you. Go out of this room. Bye. So weather shelter in place, you're going to go in the hallway, they're going to sit crisscross applesauce, and they're going to cover their heads, and we're going to make sure that we protect them the best we can away from windows and exterior doors. When we say red folder, that means there's an intruder in the building. So there's someone who may cause harm, and we want to make sure everyone takes what they need to be cautious. So they're going to go in your room. Everyone should have a black door stopper next to the frame area of your door of your classroom. You're going to shove that underneath the door, and you're going to try to put as many children and yourselves in the bathroom as possible, because that's away from the door and it's hidden. Obviously, if you all don't fit, then you're just going to tuck yourselves into the crevices on the side, so that if they're at the door, they're not going to do something that would go through the door and get you. Some people ask if they should run outside. I don't know if that's the wisest decision, because if you run outside, you're putting yourself at risk as well. But I mean, in that instance, you do what your gut tells you, because you're trying to save yourself and all these children. But that's just what we have here. They're remaining quiet in the bathroom area. You have your phone on you if possible, because we don't want to use radios so that they can hear us. So we're going to be using our phone messaging system, and everyone's calling, obviously, emergency services. Lockdown, when we have a lockdown, there's a potential danger in the area. So say down the road at the gas station, maybe there's a robbery. We want to make sure we stay indoors. That's all it really means. We just don't go outside for play, and no one comes in and out of the building to keep everybody safe. We will notify parents, obviously, because the first thing they're going to want to do is come take their kid home. But we do have to wait for the lockdown to be released. So making sure that the threat in the neighborhood is gone before we start letting strangers or other people into the building. Shelter in place, we want to go into the hallway, same thing, tucking our heads down and making sure that we're all covered up. But this one is because there might be something leaking in from outside. So we're going to use the plastic garbage bags and line as much as we can with duct tape all around the corners and edges of the windows and doors. And we want to keep whatever's outside and not from seeping into the building. Evacuations and on-site evacuations that we're just meeting in the front parking lot and making sure everybody's safe because something occurred inside the building. The exterior classrooms should have access to the gate. We're doing combination locks because the keys were just getting lost and it was insane. We're just losing keys left and right. So we have combination locks. I just bought another set of locks. So we'll make sure all those locks have the same code and they're all working. And hopefully that's the answer to our key problem. Back to our backpack. Okay. So neighborhood evacuation, if you're at the main building, you're going to go to the second building. If you're at the second building, you're going to the main building. And if you're at Holly Ridge, we are going to go over this again. If you need to, we just did a little bit ago, but we go totally separate place, obviously. But you're going to put all those babies in that crib, emergency crib, and you're going to wheel them out to the building 2, or everybody from building 2 is coming over, and administration will go through the counts of each classroom. Yes, the forest playground. That's why I ordered those new locks. Yep, that's why, because it's not working. Out of the neighborhood evacuation. Our site is Noah's Ark Daycare. We're going to all do what we can to travel there. So we're going to fill up our buses. We're going to fill up anybody's minivan. I mean, whatever we can do to get everybody safely to Noah's Ark is what we're going to do. And parents will obviously be notified that we are going there. Out of town evacuation means that we are going out of town. So we're going to Harris Teeter because, hey, they got all the food you would need and they're out of Sneed's town and they're in a central location. It's easy to get to that location. You have different routes. You can go from 17 or you go through Surf City to get there. So our parents will have options to get to their children. And again, we'll shove all the kids in buses and vans and minivans and get them all to the Harris Teeter location. If we had a loss of water, we'll notify them on ProCare. And if it can't be restored within 2 hours, we do have to close the facility because we can't do things that require water use. And we will notify everybody for that. A missing child from the center, we go through and we want to make sure that we verify every classroom's count. So we will go through just like we do a fire drill, and the room number will be called and you're going to tell us you have 10 out of 10 students. If you count and you're saying I have 9 out of 10 students, then obviously we know where that missing child is from. Now we have to find them. We will call law enforcement and the family, and we will make sure that everything is done appropriately and as quickly as we can to find where they went. Maybe they're just hiding in the bathroom. Lockdown drill. We just went through this. I did a brief version of it. If you want to read this further, you're welcome. It has more details in there for you. But remember, we say red folder, red meaning bad guy is in the building. If state comes or an inspector comes, we say green folder. So green is good. Not for our paperwork, but green is good. And just make sure that, when I say green folder, that just means state's here and they're going to come and check out your rooms, or an inspector's here and they're going to come and check your room. So that's the difference. Red is a bad guy. Green is we're being inspected. Good guy. Should be here to help us. Never let a strange person. A lot of you there's so many of you that are great about this. You ask, hey, can I let this person in? Or I don't know who this is. Can you come check? And that's so much better than if you open the door for someone you don't know and something, God forbid, horrible happens. So they will understand that you're checking before you let them inside. And that's okay. It's just innately in us to open doors for people. So it's very difficult to stop that portion of it because you want to make sure that everyone in the building is safe. Those playground doors, your exterior doors, should always be locked. You're only keeping them propped with a magnet when you're outside. You take that magnet away when you come inside. That way, if someone were to jump the fences and try to get into our building through one of the playground doors, they can't. It is locked. So just double check that that's happening. If you see any suspicious people outside of the playgrounds, please call for admin. We will come check it out, and then we may need to proceed further or just ask you guys to come inside until that suspicious individual walks away or drives away. And it's happened before. So just be aware. All these things, we talked about how you should stay away from windows and open doors. Remember, the fire alarm does not signal emergency services, so we do have to call 911. Okay. So overtime schedules and working through lunch. I posted this before, but mostly I just want to make sure that everybody knows for overtime, it does have to be requested by admin. So if you just assume that it's going to be an hour or two overtime because your clock in and out says that, that may not be accurate. So speak to someone in admin so you can get it clarified. And your trainings must get done. What? Oh, I know where to put it. Finish your contact hours and your courseworks. And these are all different live links you can click to get your trainings done. So if you ever say, oh, Ruby sent that link out and now it's 2 days later, I don't know where it is in the messages, you can always look at one of our PowerPoints and click these links to get access to it. Ruby's big secret is in the sauce. I couldn't think of anything else. I'm sorry, Ruby. Grego, she's gonna have 4 cheesy kids. Yay! Congratulations to Miss Ruby.
Congratulations, Ruby.
I'm very excited for you. And if you want to congratulate her in person, that would be excellent tomorrow. So awesome. 4 cheesy kids. 4 saucy kids. I should have put saucy. Well, congratulations to Miss Ruby. Saucy, right? Wouldn't that be better? So we always say this, Miss Joyce especially said, listen, if we don't know there's a problem, we can't help you remedy it. If you have any concerns, come to admin. If you don't feel comfortable talking to me, you can go see someone else in administration and they will be happy to help you. Everybody's got their person. You can message us and you can call us. Just, you have to make it known. Otherwise, you're just going to be in a miserable state thinking about this or whatever the problem may be. Even if it's something minute, it could build upon itself. And from what happened in the beginning, that little minute thing could have been handled and squashed, but now it's this big, ginormous thing and you just can't take it anymore. So please make sure you come to us. Positivity is contagious, but so is the negativity and the gossip. And we want to make sure that everybody understands we expect professionalism and we expect that you would treat each other with respect in our buildings. Whether it's in person or whether it's in a group chat, we're asking that you are kind, considerate, and compassionate for those who work with you and the children who we work with every day, those families. You never know someone's situation. And we want to make sure that we are supportive of one another, which you guys have shown time and time again, that you are part of the family of Sneads Ferry Quality and Holly Ridge Quality, and that you are a person who is perfect for the job. Most of you are just perfect for the job because you're able to give so much of yourself to your students every day. So we want to just continue that mentality and that vision in all of our locations. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me or you can write in the chat box. I'm going to keep the chat box and we will see you tomorrow morning. Joyce or Ruby, do you have anything?
Yeah, just one thing, because we discussed the scheduling and I'm not there in the morning. So I don't know what it's like in the morning. I know that we struggled this afternoon and we had everybody scheduled in today. 4 people didn't wind up coming in. Only 2 of them are early people. And we had 2 early people come in for them, actually even earlier than what one of them comes in. Cheyenne and Jenna came in today at 6:30 and Amanda doesn't even come in until 7. Jenna came in for Donna and Madison was in early today. So Cassie, the reason why I'm saying it is because Cassie wrote that we were still tight this morning, even with 1 person in the room. I did message her, but she didn't message me back. Were we still tight this morning? Because I'm just not understanding how.
No, unless Rachel and I missed something, and Stephanie missed something, so I'll ask, you already asked Cassie, but we'll ask her and then I'll let you know specifically what it was.
Because I don't want to change things around if things are tight. I just don't, we had a lot of people that was supposed to leave before 4 o'clock and it was very difficult doing that.
Yeah, so once we find out from Cassie where the specific issue was, then we can address that and then we'll figure out what the time is.
I don't know if maybe there could be more kids that could be moved around so that we're not, if we have one room
Okay.
that has 15, 16 kids and they're only supposed to have 13, they have one staff member in there, then we could move a couple kids into a room that only has 5.
Right, right.
Because I mean, I know Rachel was writing up the numbers, but none of these numbers are high.
Right. I don't know if that was done today, but
Not
when
today.
came-
I didn't see one for today,
Right.
but there are ones for January for last week and like that. And nothing that I've seen is high. Everything is lower numbers.
And then there's always that one day during the month where it seems this particular group of people have a meeting, so they bring their kids early, but it seems to be once a month. So when we figure that out, then I'll just figure out when I'm gonna come in to help that specific time, if it was a specific time. But the rooms were fine. I asked Rachel and Stephanie, but we could have missed something. So when she answers you, just let me know. Yeah.
Okay, all right, so then otherwise we'll just keep it as Jenna and Cheyenne. Are Jenna and Cheyenne on here? I guess we should message them.
They're-
just to show
They're
there's no
coming at,
confusion.
you want them to come at 7, then I'll message them.
I think if they come at 7, that should be fine. Brittany will be there then also. I think, what time is Brittany slated to come in? I don't remember.
7:30.
Yeah,
No,
whatever.
6:30.
Oh, 6:30, okay.
But I've been told that 6:30 to 7, it's not bad. It's after 7 that it gets bad. So if they're both there by 7, that should be okay.
Hey, Joyce, it's Rachel.
Okay?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fine until 7. It gets really iffy, like towards 7:30 to 8 o'clock.
Right.
Okay, so if Cheyenne and Jenna are there by 7, that should be okay they would be there for Amanda and Donna.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. All right, how was it the past couple days? Because we do have a few new infants. Are they coming in very early or are they not coming in real early?
No, they come in earlier, yeah.
The
I know
green
one of them is
baby doesn't.
Chelsea, so she's not coming until 8:30, but there were 2 others.
Clemens
Yeah,
came in at
today,
8.
sorry, Shannon.
Oh, go ahead.
Today they were at 5 by 7:30.
Okay, but that's when Heather comes in, so that should be hopefully okay.
Yeah.
All right. We also have to contact the people that were out and see how many of any of them coming back tomorrow. I know Donna's not, and I don't believe Amanda is, but I don't know about Chloe and Laura.
All right, I'll message them so in case they're not on here.
All right. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.